Okay, 1, 2, 3, start. Hi guys,
Hello,
I am Megha,
I'm Anurag.
and this is Poems with Friends, where we read a poem and try to feel something.
And this is episode number 12.
Episode number 12, yes. And we are doing it remotely. And today's poem is actually very meta because I think it's about not being able to feel things. So, a poem about not being able to feel things and trying to feel not being able to feel things. Let's get into it. You want to read it?
Yes. I want to text you, but I'm tired. Seamus Isaac Faye. I'll read it again. I want to text you, but I'm tired of looking at screens. And I hate to be negative here, but I know how this goes. You marvel at the morsels of sun between my fingers. I find a lucky penny in your attention. You seem grounded, but people always do. Even earth is shaken with the shift of plates. And you can't be dirt to me. You can bring some though, and I'll bring some. But my thing is, where do I get the seed? Or what do we plant instead? I want less diagrams and more carbonation. I want to stop mourning you before we have met. Give me your shoelace, anything. I'll plant it, or we will.
I want to read it again. I want to text you, but I am tired of looking at screens, and I hate to be negative here, but I know how this goes. You marvel at the morsels of sun between my fingers. I find a lucky penny in your attention. You seem grounded, but people always do. Even earth is shaken with a shift of plates, and you can't be dirt to me. You can bring some though, and I'll bring some. But my thing is, where do I get the seed? Or what do we plant instead? I want less diagrams and more carbonation. I want to stop mourning you before we have met. Give me your shoelace, anything. I'll plant it. Or we will.
I don't understand. How many turns did it take you to understand this?
I don't know. When I read it once, I actually found it on Reddit and I read it once and I had upvoted it. So the first time I read it, I liked it in a sense that it was a modern kind of rendition for a poem. And also I liked the twists and turns of emotion in it, but I didn't really take the time to fully understand it. I thought we could do it while we discuss it. So I just upvote things and then I save them so that we can look at it later. Anything that just hits you once, like makes you feel something. Okay. What did you feel at first? At first go, like when I read it, I felt, first of all, I think I really like the line of looking at screens, because it resonates so well with the modern world, the first line. And no one really writes modern poetry anymore. But I mean, if they do, it's all very Instagram poetry or not very relatable. So that is the one thing that I liked about it. And the second thing I really liked at first reading was this person who is like, I got this feeling of love but also fear at the same time, which I think I also feel a lot of times. So that's why I think I had saved it for later.
I understand. Okay, from a poem perspective, I love it. Because after a long time, we are reading a poem which is not very upfront. Usually, we do poems which are very direct. Like they are beautiful, but they are direct. This time, while reading it, I have to ask a lot of questions to the poem.
Right. It's almost like you have to discover it or dig into it.
yes, like for example, it is changing a lot, and I am trying. I do not know what the common thread is. When you said that this person wants to feel like they are not feeling anything,
Hmm.
it looked to me in the first glance,
Hmm.
it feels like this person is trying to be on a dating app.
Hmm.
I'm not sure why. It just seems like
It could be because it says, I want to text you, but I am tired. And it also talks about, you seem grounded. So it also talks about maybe someone they met. It is possible that this person is talking about someone they met on an app, definitely.
and they say, and they say I hate to be negative here, but I know how this goes. Okay, this is something they have done over and over and over again.
Right, right, right. That is also true.
But this is I still do not understand it. It's possible it's completely random.
We could go over it one by one. That is a very valid explanation that maybe they found someone on a dating app, or even if not that, it can be just someone new they met, somehow. So then generically also this can apply that, but I know how this goes, when you meet someone new that you fall in love with, let's say, or you start to like. And I love how negative this person is. And now that I actually have read it again, I realized that when I said that, oh, that this poem is about not feeling anything, that was an understatement actually. Now I realize that this poem is about feeling too many things and then getting tired by your own emotions, is what I am feeling now. Because this person is feeling so many things, like they are feeling negative and then they are feeling positive and then they are feeling negative again, and they are so tired of all their feelings. But maybe I am just projecting because I am like that. I am tired of all my feelings. Yes, please stop me if I am projecting.
No, it does seem like a thread. Like even if it is the dating thing or if it is something else, that is what this person is saying essentially. Okay, they are so cynical. They say, oh, I know I'm jumping. We have to do it line by line, but they say,
Hmm.
I love. ev- This is so funny. I do not understand this poem, but I love it. Like it's one of the it's it's so it's written so beautifully. Like it is the poem which has no cliches at
Hmm.
all.
Right, right, right.
And so what it means is I do not have anything to latch onto. I do not have any background. So
Yeah.
and it seems you seem grounded, but people always do. Even like there is an obviousness in this poem which feels like I should get it. Like you seem grounded, but
Yeah, yeah. You're saying it's written in a very simple way, but still it's so mysterious. Like it's written very simply. That's what you're saying, no? But still there is so much going on underneath.
the sentences are simple,
Hmm.
but it's not simply written. I think
Yeah, right.
it's and I don't understand. But anyway, I think I'm so intrigued by this poem. Suddenly, my mind has just in
Oh,
four different directions.
okay, let's go line by line. So I want to text you, but I'm tired of looking at screens. And I hate to be negative here, but I know how this goes. You marvel at the morsels of sun between my fingers. I find a lucky penny in your attention. So let's say this is the first part. What do we understand from it? As you said that maybe this person found another, like if this is a guy, maybe let's say they are straight, they found another girl on a dating app, and they are very cynical about this relationship at first because they're saying, I hate to be negative here, but I know how this goes. And there's this very beautiful way of saying that at first go we like each other very much. They are not saying that I know how this goes, we will fall in love. They could have just said that I know how this goes, we will like everything about each other. They are painting a really pretty picture here, right?
What is it like? You mar what I understand is that the other person will find something about this person very intriguing,
Hmm.
and while they are together in the second part of this last sentence, they're
Hmm.
saying, I find a lucky penny in my attention. That is it that cliche that two people are walking and then they see a penny
Yeah,
while they are walking?
I mean, it paints a very, what is that movie that I don't like? Before Sunrise. It paints a very like before sunrise kind of picture in my head. Like you marvel at the morsels of sun between my fingers. Makes me imagine like a movie shot with someone's hand and the shadow of the sun through the leaves, like through the leaves when it falls. So there's just these pockets of sunlight on you, and then they are
Oh,
walking as you said, and they find a lucky penny. So it paints a very that kind of romance picture.
hmm. And then they are also judging the other person, even though they are spending time together.
Hmm.
Okay, but I'm running ahead of myself.
Hmm.
I think I agree this much that
Okay.
they are saying that it's the initial part and they
Hmm.
are having an out of body experience and looking at things. Okay, oh, these are very romantic from the outside.
Yeah. They're looking at very simple things in a very magical way. Like finding a lucky penny is something that is very magical, right? Only people in love, things like that happen to people in love. They don't happen to normal people. Okay.
Hmm.
Then you seem grounded, but people always do. Even Earth is shaken with a shift of plates, and you can't be dirt to me. Okay, let's just go till here. What do you think?
In the first part, it seems like this person is judging, like they are having that out of body experience of, oh, I am having romance with this other person.
Hmm.
Now, what they're also doing is they're also judging the other person.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Like a friend will look cynically, like not even a friend, like even we do it when we are in that courtship period where we judge a person. Is this person worth investing time?
Yeah.
And
I
they are saying, oh, grounded.
I think
But
also
you're
kind
also saying, but people always do, like they
hmm.
don't know.
Right, right. People always do at first and then they don't turn out to be grounded, basically. And I actually, sorry to interrupt you, I actually like really love the fear in this statement. As you said, that this person is judging another person, but this judgment is not like a very simple judgment of, I met four people, I did not really like them, and they were like this or they were like that. It is a very fearful judgment because he is having this great time with this person, he's having this romantic walk with lucky pennies, and then he suddenly becomes cynical. Again, I might be projecting, but when you're really in love with someone, then you become even overly cynical, right? That, oh, I am having this beautiful lovely day and a lovely sunset, and then suddenly you become very fearful also, that, oh, is this all a lie? Like the more beautiful it is, the more fearful you are.
Will I go back to being lonely again?
And this beautiful thing, is it all just a lie? Will it be taken away from me? That that unending spiral of love and fear. I think I'm
But
just
I think one
projecting.
thing, I agree with you, but I feel like
Hmm.
being cynical is coming, like I find it less fearful and more cynical. Huh.
I think it can
He-
also be, as what we are as people, very different. No? The maybe.
No, it's also true, but I know how this goes.
Hmm.
Okay, they are still describing the.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I see. I can actually understand what you're saying is actually more in tone of this poem. I'm just trying to counterfeit this poem to my experience. I'm reading it in a very heightened emotional state. I'm just projecting my emotions on the poem.
It's though, like I would not have had that interpretation. to be honest. I think I would not have an interpretation at all. I'm not this patient and I'm reading this alone. I'm like, wow, so beautiful, something happened. Just move on to.
Okay, so okay, this person is cynical. Actually, the next line is also great. You seem grounded, but people always do. So, this person is now comparing the groundedness of the person with the earth, which is like, an overstatement. Even earth is shaken with a shift of plate. So, this person is saying that even the earth is grounded, but it also shifts. So how grounded can you really be?
I think I want to say that I think there are three images in the same thing. You seem grounded, but people always do. Even Earth is shaken with the shift of plates is a completely different frame. It was very confusing to me because I was thinking of the other person as the Earth.
But I think that's what it is. That's what he's saying, right? If I say that you seem honest, but even Raja Harishchandra was honest, and even he killed his wife. That is a way of saying that you seem honest, but even the most honest of people have sins. So these two things are connected, no?
Even Earth is shaken with the shift of plates. The shift of plates are some future unforeseen events.
Shift of plates, yeah. I mean, shift of plates, I don't know how he is interpreting it, but I definitely see those two lines as connected, as seeing that you seem grounded, but even the most grounded of things, that is the earth, is also shaken. So, how grounded can you really be?
I think what I treated again from POV is that they're saying that you seem grounded. Okay, essentially, what you see is what you get, but they're saying that anything can happen. What I'm seeing may actually not be what I get because
Yes.
the metaphor that it is built on itself is not stable. Okay, nothing is stable.
No, I
It's
also
just a
totally
lie.
agree with what you said, that this person is being like superlatively cynical. I mean, it seems like they have gone through this many, many times actually. That is why now they have come to the point in which they are comparing groundedness to the earth and saying, what, how like even earth can shift. So people can of course shift. There is almost like an exhaustion, like a giving up of hope in this cynicism.
And they are taking out. Okay, that is the best part. Okay, you seem grounded. Okay, grounded is such an overused word for someone. I don't even know what grounded is. Like it seems like honest, aware about the surroundings, not very hoity-toity, but it's used so much to describe so many people. But you can't utter it. They are like whatever it means. Nothing can be grounded. Even ground cannot be grounded.
When ground cannot be grounded. Yes. Awesome. And then we have
Third image, which is what I'm confused about, and you can't be dirt to me. Okay, to be dirt to someone is essentially to say to not mean anything.
I don't know. Actually, that's an interesting point. I also think that there is a shift of emotion from here to here. What I got from my first reading was that, and you can't be dirt. In the sense, I got the sense of, oh, you can't be so bad also. You can't be dirt also. But what you're saying makes more sense, that, and you can't be dirt to me. You can't be, I think it's like a very double meaning statement. It's both what you are saying, that you can't be dirt to me, which kind of connects to the previous image of earth. So he's making that visual connection in which he's saying that earth is not even grounded enough, and maybe he's trying to say that you can't be earth to me, like you can't be dirt to me is a way of connecting to this previous image. But then dirt is like a dirty word, so he's also saying that you can't be nothing to me. And also he's saying that, oh, you can't be so bad also. Like he's saying so many things with just one line is what I feel.
So here, is it a generic thing? Like when they say, okay, oh, you can't be dirt to me, because I have heard this phrase a lot, like sassy people, ke, oh, you are dirt in my fingernails, etc. So, but are they wishing it, or are they saying it as a fact? Ki, are they saying I am cynical, but you specifically can't be dirt to me? Okay, as in you are important to me. Or are they saying you can't be dirt to me in the sense that you shouldn't be, otherwise why am I with you? Okay, despite all the cynicism, you have to mean something to me.
I think it is the latter. You seem grounded, but people always do. Even Earth is shaken with a shift of plates, and you can't be dirt to me. I think also the line break is also a very conscious line break. So if we just read it till here, and you can't be dirt, seems like, oh, you can't be so bad also. And then the to me comes later. So it feels like, I don't think you will be so abusive to me, or you will be so bad to me, and you can't be dirt to me. I think there is a, like, this line is basically serving as a transitive line into a positive shift of emotion, because now he's going into somewhat of a positive shift, and he's like talking about making plants and all. So from a cynicism, and such a huge cynicism, which is like saying that it is hopeless, even ground is not grounded. So from that hopelessness going into the positiveness, I think this is a very transitive statement. That's why it is quite like loaded with meaning. Okay, let's go ahead. You can't be dirt to me. You can bring some though. I mean, I love how, how we are not, as you said, like, it's a poem that makes you feel things even though you don't completely understand it. And we are not trying to do a thesis on it. So we might not completely understand this line, and you can't be dirt to me, but it just sings so beautifully in the context of the poem itself, because it connects back to the earth, it connects back to, oh, but you can bring me some. And you can just feel the tone of the person, like you can actually feel it, that earth is shaken, the shift of plates, you can't be dirt to me, you can bring some though. You can actually feel that emotional shift happening.
I think that is a tone. You very well caught that. The tone is changing mid sentence. Like,
Yes.
you sounded, but people always do. Even earth is shaken, and you can't be dirt to me. You can bring some though. As in, like, it's like shifting like clouds.
Yeah.
And I can see you have pinpointed why it catches, why it continuously intrigues.
Right. I think it's also it, because this poem is almost like this very emotionally charged person who just changes their feelings. Like one time they're talking about the beautiful lucky penny, and then extreme cynicism and hopelessness. So it's, I think I also personally think of poems almost as actors' monologues, how in theater you have monologues and how they change with emotions. I almost think of poems like something like that, but with some extra imagery. So, this is a great example of this person just talking and changing their feelings so much while they are talking.
Anyway,
This actually, dirt to me also gives me a certain feeling of, almost anger. So he's going cynicism, hopelessness, earth is shaken with a shift of plates, and you can't be dirt to me. Like almost like I don't know why. I can't even explain why. But
no, that's true. Like, that is how people say this phrase, right? Oh, you are
yes,
dirt.
yes,
You are
exactly.
dirt under my shoe, etc.
Yes,
But they are saying you can't be dirt to me, and that's very interesting. I have
yes,
never seen that combination.
yes. I also never seen exactly. Awesome. Okay, let's go ahead. You can bring some though. So tone has completely shifted, and I'll bring some. But my thing is, where do I get the seed? Or what do we plant instead? I want less diagrams and more. Okay, let's do it till here and then we'll do the rest. What do you think about this?
Thank you. I think now the tone is suddenly very placating. It
Hmm.
says that you can bring some though, and I bring some. I'm like, okay. This
It's almost like a psychopathic person talking.
is a mood swing. Okay. Let me. Okay, but okay, now they have become very practical. Okay, they are saying, but my thing is, where do I get the seed, or what do we plant instead? So they are saying intention exists to bring some dirt.
Yes, but my thing is, where do I get the seed or what do we plant instead? I think this also gives me a feeling of this person is trying to be hopeful, but underneath there is still hopelessness. So they have not gone back to complete hopefulness. They have not gone back to you can bring some though and I'll bring some and then we'll plant a great tree which will give us fruits forever and ever. They are still struggling with the underlying meaninglessness of life. But my thing is, where do I get the seed? Like they still have that shade of cynicism or what do we plant? I want to be a romantic person, but I know flowers are such a shitty idea. That kind of thing.
One thing I actually suddenly struck me, is it possible, and it could be one of those things where you read a poem so much that you start finding meanings which does not exist. But okay, you can bring some though, and I'll bring some. And what they're talking about is dirt. So, is this dirt a thing? Is this dirt their contribution to their budding relationship, or is the dirt the baggage? Okay, are they saying, okay, let's build this thing together, like let's contribute, or are they saying, oh, let us come with our baggage?
Wow, that is a very interesting question actually. I never thought of that. Very interesting actually. Yeah, it could be baggage because dirt is seen as something that is not clean. You can bring some though and I'll bring some. Yeah, and when he's saying you can't be dirt to me, I think he's also hinting at the fact that people have their traumas, they seem grounded but they are not. And so I can also bring some. But where is this? That is why it's not becoming completely hopeful. That is why it's still remaining in that negative domain. But we don't have a seed. We both have this emotional baggage, but we don't have any seed or anything. Like, how do we do that? That's an amazing point actually. This could be baggage.
The only thing is that it does not tie with the rest of the poem. Like baggage.
I think that it resonates with me as an underlying meaning a lot because I think that this person is like when they start the poem also I know how this goes, they are very self-aware, so I think it could be an underlying meaning that both people bring the baggage. That is why it's not becoming fully hopeful. That is why he's saying that we'll both bring baggage, but what is the seed? Like, how do we take this baggage and grow a plant of love out of it? We are both broken people. How do we grow something out of that?
They're thinking, where do I get the seed? Okay, where is the what ties everything together? And they say, what do we plant instead? Okay?
Exactly.
That is also under question. Okay?
Yes.
If they come together, it's possible they plant something. They find the seed somewhere, but of what?
But of what? What will heal both of their baggage and magically make it love? So that is an amazing point because it now ties everything together. It's like, we have this, like for example, if you look at the dirt of the earth, you say that it's dirt, but then there is a beautiful plant coming out of it. It is almost like two traumatic people coming together with their emotional trauma and love coming out of it. It's almost like that, like out of ground, out of nothingness, something comes.
But they are doubtful about that. They are saying,
they're doubtful that how do we make that magic happen? How will we make that happen? Right. Okay. I want less diagrams and more carbonation. This I did not get at all. I want to stop mourning you before we have met. Give me your shoelace, anything, I'll plant it, or we will.
There's a comma. I didn't even
Yes.
know how I was
Yes.
here. I want to search for carbonation quickly. Give me a minute.
Carbonation is that drink fizz. Yeah.
A chemical reaction, a process in beverages.
Carbon.
Occurs when carbon dioxide reacts with water to form carbonic acid. But what is it about carbonation? Okay.
I want
That
less.
doesn't seem to tie at all with. It's a slow process that occurs in concrete, where lime in the cement reacts with carbon dioxide from the air and forms calcium carbonate.
I want less diagrams and more carbonation.
Look, is the carbonation? So there is a carbonation. I think you were correct about the soda carbonation, carbonated water. There is a carbonation also where chemical reaction in which calcium hydroxide reacts with carbon dioxide and forms insoluble, like related to cement making.
Oh, what does it relate with diagrams? I want less diagrams and more carbonation.
I mean, with relation to steam, now again, I think a lot of times I am being very speculative. You give me a lot of validation for it. I'm just being so speculative because I do not understand things. It seems like plant making is very soft, natural process, right? Suddenly they have shifted into less diagrams, architecture diagrams, and more carbonation. Now they have gone into making homes. But it is a stretch.
You are saying that in a relationship, like when you meet someone, it is more like a process that you follow. And that process is what he's calling a diagram. And carbonation is what he's calling spontaneity. Is that what you're saying?
No, carbonation is when you create cement, literally. When you are making the cement, it is but could be anything, I think.
Now I have made up my own meaning out of it. Now I'm thinking that it could be that diagrams to me seems like something which is very process oriented. That when you meet someone, you kind of follow a flow chart of what to do. That you chat for 5 days, then you ask for a first date, then you ask for a second date. So that is like a diagram or a flow chart that you're following. And carbonation to me seems like fizz, like a reaction kind of thing. Carbonation seems to me like a reaction. So it is more like spontaneity. It is more like let's clash with each other and let's let that reaction happen.
I think I do agree with that sentiment, to be honest, given I also feel similarly. Probably what they are saying is that I need less planning and etc. because that is so tedious, and I want something
reactive to happen. And I think this also ties in with how tired this person is, because they started with I am tired, right? So I think that cold feelinglessness, when you're feeling very depressed and feeling less, then you want some kind of reaction, some energy in the relationship. So I don't know why he chose this weird way of saying it. I want less diagrams and more carbonation, but maybe that's what it means.
The poem written for the poet. I have complete.
For anyone else to read
a very specific set of people who will understand all the references, because there are a lot of references. Mortulus and I am very confused.
I couldn't find it actually also anywhere except Reddit. So maybe it is. Okay, this next line I actually really liked. I want to stop mourning you before we have met. That
is actually one of the more cliched lines in the poem. It made me feel less than the other things.
Oh, I liked it because it is a little cliched, but it was Like, yes, I never read it written like that. I want to stop mourning you before we met makes me feel like something I also do, because when you have met someone but you have not really met them, like you've not really gotten to know them, or you've not really gotten to that stage, but you already become so negative in your head that, oh, it's not going to work out, that you already, I do that, like I start creating scenarios in my head where this person who I really like is already out of my life, and I am already mourning that loss. So it really resonated with me that, oh shit, this is what I also do.
Okay, this is the end game for the full thing. Okay, they are saying I want to text you, but I'm tired. So they have not texted yet,
Yes. So
and then they are
they
saying
don't want to
I
go to that
know this
cycle.
goal.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. So till now, till now, till before I want to stop mourning you, it was still the I know how this goes, is it?
Yes. It has that colon
It was
has
all
got.
story. To
Hmm.
me, it was like, oh, to me, how I was interpreting it was that this person is having that outer body experience and going through the motions. But I think after your explanation, I realized
Hmm.
none of this has happened actually. This person is just postulating all of this will happen.
Yes,
He's just
overthinking
pushing.
at its finest.
कि कि हाँ कि काफी ज्यादा डिटेल्ड ओके ओवरथिंकिंग
I need to find this guy and read more poetry by him, and then validate myself.
I want to stop mourning, and now I understand that this is the full stop to everything. Like it's
Hmm.
like person is backtracking, right?
Yeah.
Reminding. I think me, you were already reminded. You never lost the thread that none of this has happened.
Yeah, and he has made all of this overthinking story and said that, oh, this happened, but everything is bad, but maybe not. And it's been like, oh, I want to stop like mourning you before we have even met. And this is such an amazing line, because this is what overthinkers do. Like, this is the crux of this, like, they should be on the flag of overthinkers, that you meet
Hmm.
someone and you really like them, but then you are already thinking about 100 ways this could go wrong, and I've already started crying thinking about 100 things that could go wrong. And I'm like, oh my god, it's all in my head. I shouldn't do that.
Oh my God. I want to tell you this. Just I don't know why I'm telling this. You can cut it off from the podcast. But I saw a small kitten in my society and just sitting there in
Hmm.
a pavement. And I was very worried for the kitten. Ki what if some car comes and mauls the kitten, because there was very little space in
Hmm.
that small lane.
Hmm.
And I started creating threads of what if it happens right in front of me? Do I get the crate? Do I get the crate from my house, or do I get a blanket? What do I do? Do we euthanize the kitten? Do we try to save it? Do
Hmm.
I? And I had so many things, and I was feeling so crushed. And I is that why am I feeling that nothing has happened actually?
Oh god, yes, seriously. I think your true love is cats. I think a person can find their true love by thinking about what is it that they think completely negatively about, which has not happened yet.
Oh,
Rohit
come
does
on.
it with dogs.
I think so much about. I fear so much falling off the stairs. I cannot walk down the stairs nowadays without holding the rails because I am so convinced that I'll fall and break my skull, and I know exactly where it will break. I know how to press it while I go to the hospital.
You have practiced the pressing already.
Not physically, it will be too crazy, but mentally.
Imagination. Hmm. Nice. Okay, coming back, I want to stop mourning you before we have met. Give me your shoelace, anything. I'll plant it. Or we
Why
will.
shoelace? Why the shoelace?
I don't know. I think it was very. like a nice, cute touch of how we live in this. I also like this poem actually because it kind of made me think of the movie Her, in which how we live in this modern, not exactly Her, but like a gray world, the first part of Her before he discovers love, basically, in which we live in this world of staring at screens, and there is nothing that we can feel very loving about. And even if you try to think of planting something, which is like a nice way of getting in touch with nature, then also you don't know where the seed is. Like you're so far away from nature that you don't know, like you're not connected to nature anymore. That is why you're not connected to love anymore. That is why shoelace is like a very modern thing, in my opinion. And
Hmm.
that's what I felt like, that this person is so detached from nature and love and everything, that they're just trying to, how they're just trying to ask this question: how to create love, how to grow a plant out of the soil, how to do all this. I don't know, kind of thing.
They are planting, they are answering their thing. They are planting the shoelace for some reason.
I'm still convinced with the shoelace. Give me a shoelace, anything, right? They said, give me anything, I'll plant it. Shoelace is just like a
Oh, it's
passive.
just an example of how randomly the poet is thinking.
Hmm.
They're saying, I'll plant it.
Or,
They're answering their own question, right? Oh, what do we plant instead?
hmm. Give me a shoelace, anything, I'll plant it. Or we will, comma, as you rightly pointed out. So we will, like we, I think that is like leaving it on hope, no? It's like open-ended and hopeful. We will do X, Y, Z things together.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, essentially, this is the point where the person is hopeful enough and not tired that they will me actually text.
That they will, not tired that.
I'm just imagining the person who went through this trip, mental trip, and then eventually they're like, okay, now they are like at a, they also got closure.
Hmm.
Okay, it's okay. We'll plant it.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going back to the title. Okay, I want to text you, and they may have texted now at the end of this point.
Oh,
Like
wow.
beyond this.
That's a nice point. Or we will, and then they went back to texting. Wow, that's great actually. Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. Now I want to actually take all of the traumatic cycling in my head and write a poem about it. Maybe someone else will feel connected to it.
So
Okay,
it's
we'll read it one more time.
yes.
You read it.
Hmm. By the way, before reading, again, I want to tell you and the readers, because I feel like a fraud that I do not totally understand this poem. I think I understand the feeling of this, but I think it still leaves something to be desired.
But I think it's, yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Of course, we are no experts. But I feel that we understand the poem to a certain level, and the rest of it is something that you can never get in two readings or three readings, even. This is the kind of poem that is intended to leave something desired. You know, it's not like we are going to sit and dissect everything and do a research or do an English literature class on it. It is that
Hmm.
we could understand the feeling of it, and it will, I think it will stay with me, because this is the first poem I have read which has encapsulated the feeling of overthinking so nicely. Overthinking, going into negative thought loops, then placating yourself and everything. So I think
Hmm.
it will stay with me that way. Otherwise, maybe if I read it again 1 month later, maybe I'll find something new also. And that is always great, right? We don't have to finish a poem.
I will agree with that.
Okay.
I'll read it.
Hmm.
to text you, but I'm tired of looking at screens. And I hate to be negative here, but I know how this goes. You marvel at the morsels of sun between my fingers. I find a lucky penny in your attention. You seem grounded, but people always do. Even Earth is shaken with the shift of plates, and you can't be dirt to me. You can bring some though, and I'll bring some. But my thing is, where do I get the seed? Or what do we plant instead? I want less diagrams and more carbonation. I want to stop mourning you before we have met. Give me a shoelace, anything. I'll plant it. Or we will.
Nice. Nice. I think this is the first modern poem that we have done, like references to screen and shoelaces and things like that. Okay. Awesome. Let us know, guys, what you thought about it. And if you also suffer from this overthinking trip. And we'll see you next time.
Yes. Bye.
Okay. Bye.